I just want to ask you now, because you talked about obviously the Huffington Post, and even though you're not there anymore, I'm sure that you're a very keen observer of what's happening in the news in terms of social media and fake news. So what are the challenges now with fake news? How do media organizations overcome that?
Well, we have the challenge that people now trust their peers more than they trust established media institutions. And that more and more people, over half the people, get their news from social media. But also it's very important to remember that fake news is not a new phenomenon. Let me take you back to the year before the invasion of Iraq. The fake news then was on the front page of the New York Times in stories by Judith Miller about the weapons of mass destruction programs in Iraq, all of them entirely fake. And then they were amplified on the morning Sunday shows by administration officials.
But at the time they were reporting on what they were being told by the administration.
But that's fake news, because reporting, becoming a mouthpiece for the administration is promoting fake news. And look at what it led to. It led to the most tragic foreign policy mistake of the Western world in our lifetime. Because a lot of the consequences that follow, that we are reading about every day in the papers now, including ISIS, were a result of that incredible destabilization of the region because of the invasion of Iraq based on entirely fake news. We should never forget that.
So we've talked about that relationship with fake news and the administration that you're saying, Arianna, but what about the administration now in the US with President Trump? Because there's the fake news, or is there the dossier that's being talked about, the relationship that he's having now with media outlets? It's unprecedented. He's accusing networks, and it's never happened before. What do you make of it?
Well, two things. First of all, Donald Trump should be separated from his phone at night, get a full night's sleep, and stop tweeting in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because he's tweeting at 3 a.m.
Exactly. He's the poster child of sleep deprivation. He is exhausted.
How do you think it's affecting him?
It's definitely, you can see it's affecting him.
In what way?
It's affecting him in the sense that even after he won, he was basically taking the bait constantly. You would have thought after you win, you can just relax. You're on top of the world. You're going to be president of the United States in a few days. And it's really the opposite of my greatest hero, Marcus Aurelius, who was emperor of Rome and a Stoic philosopher. And really, these are like two examples, polar opposites of leadership. One is kind of unflappable in the presence of any dangers, accusations, and leading from a very centered, responsible place. And the other, unfortunately, is being affected by every negative tweet and portrayal on Saturday Night Live that he doesn't like, and every little thing kind of makes him upset. And I promise you, if he got 8 hours sleep and did not tweet in the middle of the night, the next 4 years would be infinitely better for the world. So I highly recommend that his advisors take the phone away.
It was interesting because I did see some tweets that he directed at you personally back in 2012, and they were very harsh. They were real personal attacks on you.
Oh, but that's his style. You know, that doesn't mean anything. You know, he always attacks people. I think right now, I think he has an opportunity to tap into the best Donald Trump there is. Because I think we all have the better angels of our nature and the worst part of ourselves. And we all have an interest for him to tap into that part, because he is now the president. And I think it's incredibly important for people, good people, to accept to be in his administration. I'm a believer in that, because the more he's surrounded by people who can influence him in the right direction, the better off the world will be. And I also think, on behalf of the media, it's terribly important that they do not succumb to stories and publish stories, as BuzzFeed did publish the dossier, before they verify them. Because otherwise, the media are going to lose their credibility when there are real stories they want to address and they want to criticize the administration on.
If you had been at the Huffington Post and the dossier had come out, would you have published it?
Absolutely not, because nobody has been able to verify it. That's why CNN did not publish it. That's why the New York Times did not publish it. Otherwise, we fall into the trap that happened during the Obama years when the right-wing press would publish anything against Obama. You know, that's how the birther controversy started. He was not born in the United States, a completely fake news that was published by his opponents because they wanted to believe the worst about him.
Arianna, do you think, going back to the theme of responsible leadership, President Trump will be a responsible leader?
We do not know. We have a lot of reason to worry. And I believe now he needs to be judged by everything he does and not by what he said during the campaign.
And just finally, what's next for you, besides a good night's sleep tonight?
Well, a great day ahead in Davos that I'm really looking forward to. And I'm really looking forward to what's next for Thrive Global. We are expanding around the world. We just closed joint ventures in Italy, in India, with the Times of India, in South Africa, in Eastern Europe, in Russia, in Turkey. The stress and burnout pandemic is everywhere. It's truly global, and it's having a huge impact on both individual lives, corporations, and countries. I mean, 75% of our healthcare costs are because of stress-related preventable diseases. So we need to address this head-on. It's a real public health crisis, and I'm definitely committed to devoting the rest of my life to it.
Still watching? Perfect. Click here to watch another great video from CNBC International. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.